Hello, everyone. Stand There for Ministries here. I'm Kevin. This is Guy. We got a whole new thing we're trying out here. It's different. Seems like I'm shining a little bit more than what I thought I should be. When we first experimented, you were dark as blazes.
I was very dark, very dark.
So, anyway, today we're going to talk about it takes courage because courage is one of those things that overcomes fear, all kinds of stuff. So, and we need it. We need courage. So, here we go. Let's start out with Deuteronomy 31. Verse 6. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them, for the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. And that's the strength in it. So
Yep.
that's how you gain your courage, is by staying grounded in God. And with courage, because people have fear, they let the fear take in, and they don't want to do something. They don't want to step up and say something or do something in a manner because, oh no, I might offend somebody, or I don't want something bad to happen. That's not it at all. An example of courage is us trying this new platform.
Right.
I mean, it's what we
It's
finally got this thing
well,
going after like 30 minutes.
right. No, learning curve. And the thing is I'm not very computer savvy, so it takes me a lot longer to figure stuff out too. But that courage that we're talking about is to not stop, not quit. Don't get angry about it. Don't get upset. Take your time, think it through, use your thought process, but having the courage to keep going. Well, that's the big thing.
Yeah,
Keep
well,
on, keep.
the definition of courage, if you look it up, I'll just read it here.
Yes.
The choice and mental strength to confront fear, pain, danger, or uncertainty. And there's other things you can lump into that, lying, corruption. It takes courage to confront that stuff.
Yes.
You know, you have a bad situation at work, it's going sideways. You got to step up. It takes courage to walk up to the boss and say, "Hey, this needs to be addressed."
Yes.
You know, take you know.
Uh, yes. And on that note, I've got a quick deal. This week, I drove a lot of miles this week. I had deliveries upon deliveries, and I get a phone call. One of our guys calls me and says, my mixer's sitting on the side of the road. He
Oops.
was driving down a road, and we have a mixer that's welded onto the back of the truck so we can mix for our in-town jobs or wherever. We can have our cement, but we can mix right there. Well, now it's sitting in the middle of the road that he just turned the corner, and it just fell off, gone. And he's calling me. He's panicked. He's calling boss man. He had 7 different people on the phone. Well, that's kind of a fear, but in the same instance, he was very angry about it because it happened at the busy time of day where nobody was hurt. The vehicle that saw it coming off was actually able to stop and get out of the way so it didn't hit them or hit anybody. They threw their hazards on. Everybody was safe. Everything was good. But by the time they got it off the road, they had traffic backed up every which direction for about 2.5 miles.
Oh yeah, it happens fast.
So,
It's amazing how fast that'll happen.
yeah. And they're trying to figure out why in the world it came off. Well, somebody didn't weld it right. It happens. Just
Yeah, but
wasn't welded well.
it took courage for them to jump out there and get out in the middle of the road and get it off the road so traffic can get moving again.
Exactly.
Instead of
And
panicking and,
then,
oh, I can't do nothing.
right. Or just driving off and leaving it. We've had
Yeah.
a couple of guys do that. Just drive off and leave something.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll get it later. Whatever. In the middle of traffic. Had a gentleman dropped a skid steer bucket off of the bed of his truck. and drove. He was going fast enough. It skidded off of the highway, but even still, it came off. It was a projectile. It was strapped down. The strap broke. The bucket fell off. And it's crazy stuff like that. I mean, you're not thinking about it, but there's thousands of people that carry this equipment a day. One little mishap, we're only going down the road. We're just going right down the road here. Somebody doesn't do their job. You have to be that person that steps up and have that courage to say, no, strap it down no matter what. We've got to get it strapped down. We've got to be secure. Got to
Do
be
your
safe.
job. Do the job you're being paid to do.
Yes, exactly. So, a little bit of, for instances that I've had with,
So, well,
this
you know,
week.
it's no different than, it's kind of the same thing. You know, you see something within your church. Sometimes you have
Yes,
to speak up and say something there. That takes courage, because you know that somebody's going to come back on you and growl at you. You know, but if you know that you're right in the situation, it shouldn't matter whether they come back and scream at you or whatever. You know. Now,
well,
there's
this is a good one here for you. Speaking of that, people in the church think that they are always right when they're in the church. I've seen it many a time,
oh yeah, me too.
and they're not. And like you said, you have to have that courage to step up and be like, no, you're not part of what the gospel is saying, what God is trying to teach us. You're out in your no man's land. And that's hard to do. It's hard to have that courage at that time to do it. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
So,
And all that comes with different stuff. And one of it's, you know, being able to wait to know at the right time.
mhm,
You know, Psalms 27:14. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage. He shall strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord.
yes,
He'll strengthen you when you know you. It may take a little time from the time that you speak up in that courage for something to transpire in the situation that you're addressing. Um, but be of good courage. That's you know there's courage out there that's meant for bad.
yes,
You know, there's people out there that they'll run out there and just go popping off their lip on something and call themselves, you know, courageous, you know, but they cause more damage than they do help.
mhm,
That's the difference between good courage and bad courage. There is bad courage. We got to have
yes,
good courage. The good courage means you're going to pick the situation up and move forward.
right.
And then, you know, you run into the situation where God goes, no, don't say nothing at all.
Yep.
Had that the
And
last little bit.
that that could be hard too, because you know you want to. You know you want to say something right now because it's right there on the tip of your tongue, and you know you're supposed to be courageous and speak up, and but there are times where it's best just to turn the mind off and walk away
Yeah.
because they're not going to get it.
So,
It'll
you know,
be
another example of being courageous, you know, you have to go up there and correct your kids, or you have to do something say something within your family. Yeah, it's like, hold on here. We need to address this. It takes courage to do that. And unfortunately, we've got a society now that's been, I'll just been emasculated to the point that they're scared to say, you know, like, hold on here. That's not how this needs to work. They just don't want to because, oh, they might do something to me. Nah, where's your trust lie?
yeah, exactly. Well, trust in your government, or do you trust in your Lord?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty simple.
Well, and to kind of answer some of
So,
that is it's this. It's 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. And that's what courage is. You know, you do it out of love, you do it out of a sound mind, and you have God's power behind backing you as you
Yes.
as you step up to be in that courageous situation.
Yes. And that's another good point there, because now we can go into Ephesians 6:11. A lot of people, it all ties back together um, with this when you're of God.
Working on it. Things are slow. I'm slow. There you go.
Yeah, that one kind of popped in there.
There
But
you go. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. There you go.
yes,
The armor helps you build that courage.
yes. And w- when you have your armor on, that courage is all coming from God. He's telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And as long as you're following it, you're not going to be wrong. You're not going to be
Oh, he'll lead you in the correct path.
correct. Correct. But the armor is there to protect you from the wiles of the devil. Everything, it's even other people that aren't Christians, people that are Christians or think they're Christians. It's for everybody.
I like the whole think there,
Yes,
because there, and that's truth. The Bible talks about there being the fake ones out there. You know, and there is.
there is.
So that's another topic we'll touch one of these days. Take some courage to touch that one.
Right, right. Oh, that one might be
So
rough.
yeah, but with and we can even go as far as like your first responders.
Mhm.
Your first responders, man, the courage it takes for those guys to put on those uniforms, um, and go out there and fight those fires, deal with the wrecks, the EMTs, the law enforcement dealing with the stuff that they're dealing with. That's courage. Because if they had fear, they wouldn't be there doing it.
Right. And so, same thing, firefighters, first responders, something blows up and they have an accident that happens while they're working on stuff. These guys lean on one another. They are brothers and sisters in that group. They are a very close knit group. Um, Bringing in other people to help them. They're a band, just like in military, army, whatever. They are a band of brothers together out there. They work in unison. They understand each other and how things are going. When one of them gets hurt, they all get hurt, not just one. They all
No,
get hurt.
it's a bad deal.
Yeah. And it's, you know, brothers in church, brothers of God, or men of God come together, pull together to help each other out. Um,
Yeah,
like we've
exactly.
said before, encouragement, get people to step up and do what needs to be done. Because there are times that you want to be, I don't want to help in this situation because I'm too close to it. And it's like, no, this is your time to step up and have your courage to step in there and do what needs to be done. Um, for me, um, I had a situation here not very long ago that we were running through material left and right. Everything's going boom, 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 boom. Like, wait, stop, slow down. There's too many people here. Slow down. Let's think about this because material is going out faster and we're getting it in. We had a gentleman that was sitting on the truck, and one of the loads, suspended loads, was starting to teeter. And he was just standing there. He was on his phone, wasn't paying attention. Could have been a very bad deal because we slowed down and we're actually paying attention for one another. We had to get the job done, and it had to get done fairly quickly. The guy was on a time crunch. When you get in a big hurry, things happen. Sometimes it's not always good. Sometimes it's not always bad. But most of the time, it's going to be one of those situations where it can be really bad. We had gentlemen. We got lucky. Didn't have the issue with our group. But one of our other branches did. And they actually crushed a guy's leg with a bunk of stuff because they were in too big a hurry. And nothing against them, but they knew what was going on, but it gets into that rhythm of where it's the same old thing day in, day out. You get complacent, and you've got to recognize that. You've got to have the courage to say, hey, stop, slow down. We've got to figure this out because people can get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
People, and it could be somebody's life that happens, and you need to think about that. Anything that you do, every time you get in a vehicle, don't be playing on your phone.
It takes a sense of courage to do a lot of everything.
Yeah.
Walk out of the door of the house.
Yeah.
People can't
For
live in
me,
that
it's get
fear.
out of bed in the morning.
Yeah. Well, there's been days I didn't want to get out of bed, but it wasn't I could, let's call it a fear thing. It was a fear thing because I didn't want to hurt.
Yes.
Cause like, no, my knees and my feet are going to hurt. No, I don't want to.
Exactly.
But got to get up and get going. So,
yes.
But back on the responder thing and a courage story, I got called out to a fire here because I volunteer for our fire department. So I'm full geared up, going down the road, got my radio and everything. I'm headed to the fire department to grab a truck. On my way there, I come over a hill. There's a cow standing in the middle of the highway. You know what that's all about. You know what a cow does to a vehicle, and a vehicle does to a cow. It's not good. I got by the cow, stopped, turned my flashers on, jumped out. Now, mind you, I got a bright yellow helmet that I'm using as a flag. I got bright yellow gear on, plus high vis stripes because I'm on the highway, and I'm flagging down a semi because when you roll over this, you couldn't see it until you rolled over this knob, and he would have been right on this cow. I literally had to stand out in the highway, which is not a smart thing to do at times. I had to really pay attention and flag down this truck. And he finally decided it was time to shut it down. And he's lucky he did because about the time he rolled over the hill, the cow was walking off the road into his lane. It was close. So, but being able to stop, and yeah, I'll brag on myself a little bit. I stopped because I took the time and was like, man, I got to be courageous and stop this truck. Radioed into dispatch, got a sheriff on the way. They got a hold of the landowner. Here it come. He got the cow, got it back in. Things went on. People don't do that anymore. They just drive on by those situations, and the next guy will get it. It doesn't work like that. It's we have to have the courage to stop and say, no, let's take that 5 minutes. Let's have and handle business.
Yeah. Because it could have been a very bad situation right there, because then you could have had a semi hit a cow, more issues, more problems, more than stopping that 5 minutes to get everybody called, get all that response going. I was
already responding to a fire, so we would have had an accident plus a fire resources dispersed in different directions because our department's strictly volunteer. It's not like guys are sitting there that can just zip out the door out of a paid department.
Right.
You know, so it's different, but
Yeah, definitely. And that's scary because I've hit cows and it's not fun.
yeah, I know. You I bet I got a picture floating around in your truck here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd just bring up bad.
That's bad juju. We don't need that. But yes, and it's not fun hitting them. And she basically did the same thing. You know, I pulled over, had my flashers on. The cows were there, stopped them, made sure people saw that the cows were still there. I followed them up the road as they were walking up the road. Even though my truck was making funny noises and doing weird stuff, but I still did it just because I didn't want somebody else to hit them. I'd already hit one, and I didn't want somebody else, family, kids, run up and down the road all the time. It doesn't take but just a fraction of a second to be looking at because everybody looks at their phone, looks at the radio, looks at down at their speed. They're looking off, and boom, the cow steps in front of you. I'm guilty of it. I've done it. It's not cool.
Yeah. So having that, yeah. Well, and being able to sit there and it takes courage to talk about those things too.
Yes.
Open up. It takes courage to sit here and talk about some of the things that you and I talk about. I do a men's group on Thursdays, and there's been 4 or 5 of us there at times. And some of the stuff that the guys talk about, they have to dig pretty deep on some of the stuff to talk about it, and that takes courage to, because some of it, and I'm not going to repeat that stuff, but there's things that you're like, wow, that's cool. You're actually sharing this stuff. Some guys, but that's the whole point is building that courage, building the people where we can all have that courage to step out, move forward, and bring Christ to the world. There we go. Here we are doing our thing.
Right. Yes, exactly. And we talk a lot with scripture because that's where we draw a lot of our inspiration from, is from the scripture. We've had a lot of close calls, a lot of heartfelt, a lot of differences in topics that we've spoke on and stuff. But it's all been, when we get deep into it, it's all, we can look it up in the scripture. It's there, what to do, how to take care of it, how to go on.
We need to look it up, because that's what gives us our strength to be more courageous.
Correct.
So, yeah, courage. What it does take courage to, and it's not, and even going out in the woods, we can break it down to something as simple as going out. You go hunting like you and I did all the time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know the courage on the one elk hunt that we had of us to both sit there in the position we were in and not sit there and think, you know what, maybe it's time to run.
We might just want to stand up and walk away from this one.
Because
yeah,
there was what was it, 3 steps? That elk was 3 steps from us, and just blowing snot and stuff, and just sit there. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he could have stepped forward another 3 steps and literally been touching us either direction.
Standing on you. And that's weird how he stood there as long as he did. It's like somebody did something to the decoy that day that you know.
Yeah. Mm. I wish it was just on the decoy. It was all over. Oh,
Yeah, because somebody was downwind of the
mm.
of the scent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That's
in that,
funny.
when you do
But
that stuff, when you do the stuff like that, there's it's not just the elk you got to worry about. There's predators out there.
yeah,
Did you see that video clip this week of the gal where the grizzly bear was running circles around her?
I
Yeah,
did not see that one, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. She was backing up. She had her phone, and this bear kept coming at her. And she had her dog on the leash right there. And the bear would act like, and she'd yell at it. And I mean, for her to stand there and posture like she did in that situation, I mean, great big grizzly bear. I mean, doing the whole pounce and run, and it'd run circles around her as she was screaming at it and yelling at it. Yeah, it was. I mean, kudos to this gal for holding her cool in that situation, because that could have
yeah,
got hairy in a hurry. Well, it was
yeah,
hairy. I mean,
yeah.
so that was a pretty wild video I watched.
Right.
But and that's a case in point in that situation. Took courage for her to stand there and posture up instead of taking off running and and stuff, because that bear would have really triggered then.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna throw one last one at you here.
Okay.
Psalms 31:24.
All right. Scrolling. There it is. Scrolling. Oh, slow moving computer tonight. Yeah.
I'm
Here we
sure
go.
it's the computer.
I'm a get there. Psalms 31:24. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, and all ye that hope in the Lord. Where's your hope lie?
Yeah,
That he as you do that and you build your faith, the courage comes, because that he brings you hope. He strengthens you into the point of having that courage to speak out against an evil
correct.
or a bad situation, or like a fear, a pain. We
Just
talked about
anything
getting
in
out of bed in
general.
the morning.
Yeah,
That pain of getting out of that's pain. Takes courage to get up and keep going when you do have that pain.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
So
The courage, it takes courage, really does. You, I've had to speak out against some stuff here lately, and I know that there's arrows flying back at me. You know, whatever. As a friend of mine did, just let it brush off, hold that shield up, let it bounce off. You know, and it's what happened in those situations was unfortunate. It never should have happened.
yeah,
And other people even stood up saying things, and it took courage to do that. So hopefully, out of the end result of those situations, people grow, people get better, and move forward in a positive situation, not in a negative sort.
right.
Good courage, the good
Good
courage.
courage. Yes.
So
Hope,
cool.
faith,
Oh,
love.
what's that? What's that?
That hope, faith, love.
Yeah, yeah.
Way it
That.
goes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, alrighty then. So we're finished talking about. I don't know if it'll ever stop talking about it, because courage is going to come up
Oh
down the
yes.
road. It's come up in previous ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of it. It's part of the whole.
It's
It's part of your walk.
yeah.
You know, it takes courage to acknowledge that Jesus went to that cross, went to the cross.
Yeah.
You know, those three nails put him there. It takes courage to acknowledge that. You know, where instead of being in a society of, oh, we can't talk about that stuff, don't do that. No, let's talk about it
Yeah.
because that's the truth.
It's
You know, that's what it's all about. It's having that courage to bring forth the truth, and that's what it is. Jesus was truth. He's the way, the truth, and the life. He bring comes to you can have life that more abundantly. There's so much, you know, and it's going to take the courage of not just us but others jumping together, coming together, and saying, no, 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 Jesus is the way. So, try takes courage to tell everybody he's the way. So, okay, everyone. Hope everybody enjoyed this go around. There's more to come. Hopefully, you like the new setup. However, we did it because we're still learning. We're still dipping into that courage to learn what we're doing here. So,
yeah,
you know,
big time.
so God bless. Keep smiling. Stay courageous. We'll see you on the next one.